Hey, couldn't find the right button. Sorry about that. Good evening. Kathy Beatty here with Divorce Support Anonymous. Searching for the button, couldn't seem to find it. Didn't want to put my glasses on. Hey, how are you doing? How are you tonight? I want to jump into your life for just a few minutes to give you encouragement, give you hope, let you know that you're going to make it through this and you're going to get on the other side. And there is a beautiful life yet awaiting for you. Now, the people that I talk to are at all varying places in the process of divorce. Some of you are just finding out and you are in the middle of your grief. And that's where you need to be right now. Don't let anyone rush you or push you through it. Take the time to do the grief. Some of you are still in bewilderment because you're in the process and just getting ready for a court date or a mediation date, and you've never done this before, and you're confused and perplexed, and you don't know who to trust. I hear you. I know where you're at. And I want to be of help wherever I can. Being a domestic mediator, having worked in this work for the past 15 years, in the divorce work, and a mediator for the last 9. I've seen you, I've heard your stories. So let me know where I can plug in and where I can be of help. In fact, I ran across this week. I was in a mediator training. We're required, interestingly enough, we are required as mediators to get 8 hours every year, 2 years, I forget, because I'm overdue in my training always. But I had a mediator training this week and came across a co-parenting checklist that I thought was really, really helpful. So if you are in the middle of that, I haven't talked a lot about co-parenting, and I need to do that because it's very important on how you do that and how you approach it. But I do have this co-parenting checklist. I'm not sure who to give the credit to, but it can be yours if you request it. If you're in the middle of your divorce and you need that type of tools, let me know. And then, of course, I have the Preparing for Mediation workbook, which will help you as you go into mediation or before you meet your attorney for the very first time. Really helpful tool to get you organized and to get you on that path. But here's who I'm thinking about tonight. I'm thinking about those of you who are finished with the divorce process. You have done your work, you've done your grieving, you are sick and tired of the word divorce,
and the process of it. And you have been diligently doing your inner work and working on yourself, having compassion on yourself, allowing yourself to grieve, giving yourself the tools that you need to proceed. And you say, I want to build a new life now. I want to stop. This is my favorite place to get people to. I want to stop looking at the past. I want to start looking at the future and building my life. Because God promises us that He has a plan for us, a future and a hope. And so we need to get on that train, and we need to start moving forward and leave to stay with the same analogy, the train station behind. So how do we do that? Where do we begin? I want to talk to you a little bit tonight about this little tool which I created, which is building your future after divorce. 8 weeks, real simple. I make it all simple, not because I dumb anything down, but because I know where you're at as far as in trauma, and you need things simple to follow. You don't need deep information. You just need the how-to, the step 1, step 2, step 3. And that's what this book is all about. So we take you through 8 weeks of different topics to allow you to stop and think about those as you build your life. You can't just jump in and start rebuilding. You have to have a plan. You have to have a vision. And that's what this book helps you to do. So the whole goal of this book, which I really love to do this in person, because at the end we stand up and we give our new life declaration, which is something that you work on through this book. So we stand up and we have this vision, mission statement that we can begin to start living. And it's really, really cool. To use an old-fashioned word I used to use in high school, really cool to see what people come up with, how they are determined to move forward, have a specific plan, not a vague one, and we help them through, we guide them through. I say we because after 8 weeks, we formed a really lovely group that supports each other. And so when you stand up and you give your new life declaration, we ask for clarity, because you can say things that can be really vague and they don't help you, such as, I want to be healthy. I don't know what that means. I'm not even sure you know what that means when you say it. So we want to give you that step-by-step, walking through, talking through where you want your future to go. And so that's what this book is about. So tonight I want to just kind of ask a couple of questions that I ask in the book. And of course, before we jump into that, you can ask me questions, comment, text, certainly phone call. But here's some of the questions that we ask. What are the most important decisions that I need to make? There are some real important decisions as you go through divorce, but there's also real important decisions after divorce. As you decide what you want your life to be, what are the most important decisions I need to make? And then that fits into every category of the 8 weeks. But I would ask you that this evening, what are the most important decisions that you need to make? Maybe it's keeping the house. Maybe the divorce is final, you have the house, but then you're realizing, I'm not really able to live much with this house. And that was actually what happened to me. I did keep the house, 8 acres pond, loved it. It was my dream home. I think my soul lived there partly. And I got the house and I realized it was just too much house for me to keep up. And I had to decide, okay, I'm either going to keep this home or I'm going to have a life. I can't have both. So I decided that the important decision I needed to make was to sell the home. And that's what I did when the time was right. I was in it, I think, about a year after the divorce. And then I decided that after realizing how much work it was, and also realizing that I wanted my life to be simpler. And I would encourage you, one of the most important decisions that you need to make is, how do I simplify my life? Because it can be so complicated during divorce, after divorce, all the different decisions, all the things you have to do. And keep in mind, as one of your new life declarations, how do I simplify my life? And that was actually what I have wanted to do over the years, and I have. I now live in a 975 square foot condo. I love it because it's simple and it frees me to live the life that I want to live. So what are the most important decisions that you need to make right now? And I'd encourage you just to write that down on paper in a journal and start thinking, what are the important decisions I need to make? And then get the help that you need, get the consultation that you need, get the support that you need to make those decisions, and get other people's perspective. Don't go through this on your own. It really is helpful when you're talking with someone that you hear yourself process what decisions you are making. That, regardless of what the other people respond to it, you have the opportunity, and there's different dynamics when there's another person there, to hear yourself work through and talk through the decisions that you need to make. And it's much, much more helpfully. Next one, what are the things I can no longer tolerate? There are things in life, it goes back to boundaries, right? What are those things you've been putting up with that you need to let go of? What are they? Who are they? Maybe people you thought were friends and are not. So there are things that you can no longer tolerate. You don't want in your life anymore. They don't fit your life anymore. And yet in years past, you've had to put up with them. You've had to deal with them. But this is a new ball game. It's a new ball game now. And you have the opportunity to make some important decisions about, what are the things I'm not putting up with anymore. I don't want this in my life anymore. And we can, because we've been a reflex to our life in this negative relationship, we can easily become a reflex. And we may need to teach ourselves how to say no, how to find what it is that I really want in my life. And that's one of the reasons why I like this book so much, is because it does allow you to make those decisions. And then, of course, what are the actions that I need to take? You can talk about it for a long time, and you should talk about it for a while, but eventually you've got to take action. What are the actions that you need to take? So I'd encourage you, get a journal. If you don't have this book, get a journal. Start asking yourself those questions. It'd be really, really helpful for you. So this book, of the different chapters that we do, is Matters of the Heart, which is basically emotions, deciding to build a new life, managing your finances, because if you don't control your finances, you don't control your life, developing a new self, creating boundaries, taking risks, avoiding self-sabotage, building new heritage habits, composing your new life declaration. So it's a great process. What are the actions you need to take? Maybe you need to order the book. Maybe you need to get the journal. Maybe you need to take yourself away from all of the hustle bustle where you're at and have a quiet conversation, a real conversation with yourself and with God, and say, what do I want the rest of my life to look like? And I would really encourage you to pray for wisdom and to ask God to enter into this decision-making process. Do you know that God is for you? That He's not against you? And some of you, when I say that, there's an automatic defense that comes up, or maybe a reminder of some things that you've done in the past. Friend, God knows all the things you've done in the past. He still longs for relationship with you. One of my favorite verses is this verse, and it intrigues me very much. I was reading the whole chapter of Jeremiah 33 right now. Very interesting chapter. There's a lot in there. But this is the verse that has intrigued me. That God says to us, as he says to Israel in the past, this is a request of God to be in relationship with you, not a religion. Religions don't work. Relationships work. So God is saying to the people of Israel, thus he's saying to you through this verse, call to me and I'll answer you. And I'll tell you great and hidden things that you don't know. Call to me. I'll answer you. I'll tell you great and hidden things that you do not know, like wisdom, like how to make good decisions, like everything you need to build a new life. Don't take this journey without God. Don't think you can do it solo. Why waste time and years? So much time and years have been wasted going through this divorce. Why would you want to waste any more? Ask God, call to God for wisdom, for discernment, to be answering these questions, the important decisions that you need to make, what things you can no longer tolerate, and what actions you need to take. Call on him. You don't have to do it religiously. You don't have to do it in any certain language. He cares for your heart. He created your heart. He knows you. He wants authenticity. He wants you to be honest with yourself and with him. Because just like when you're with a person, and I stated it's helpful to hear yourself process, when you hear yourself pray and you allow God and request him to be involved in what you're doing, you can shave years off the learning curve of being a healthy single person. It's time to get started building your new life. So if you're ready, God's ready. Let's get started. Get a notebook. Get this book. It's incredibly inexpensive on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or christianbooks.com. Get started. No one's coming to your door, knocking and handing you your life. You must go after it. See you next Friday night. Next 2 weeks, I'll be away from home. So not sure exactly where I'm going to be. I'll be at a wedding in Wisconsin next Friday. I'm just not sure exact point where I'm going to be coming to from. The week after that, I'll be at Single Moms Family Camp. Looks like we've got a good group of single moms. I hope you're one. I hope you're one that signed up, because I can't wait to see what's going to happen at this camp. Time away and really good time together. So we'll see you next Friday. Have a good weekend and take care of you.